Hi, I'm Jace and I'm going to take you through some double kick basics now. And we're going to look at double kick pedal technique. To begin with, I just want to show you what my approach is to playing the double kick pedal. And like a lot of people, I play with the heel up on the pedal. So it's kind of like a stamping action using the ball of the foot. I'll just demonstrate with a few hits. And you'll notice I play without any shoes or socks on, and it's something I've only started doing in the last couple of years because it just feels more comfortable to me, and there are no hard and fast rules really. I just, go with whatever feels comfortable at the time. So we're going to look at different note values, and the first note value we're going to look at is 16th notes. And this is fairly basic stuff to begin with, and all leading with the right foot. So we're just going to take it nice and slowly to begin with and just play a bar of 16th notes like this. Okay, you'll notice I'm accenting on every beat, which I think it's useful to do that because it makes you more aware of where the pulse is within a double kick pattern. So we'll just try that a few more times and keep it going to get used to it more. Okay, the next step, when you've got used to just developing a flow of double kick notes, double kick 16th notes, is to try and incorporate it into a groove, because we want to try and use everything we learn with a musical application, I think, because that's how we're going to get the most out of it, so we can jam with our friends and playing in a band and so on. So we're just going to put it into a normal 4/4 beat, just playing 8th notes on the mini hi-hat. So maybe try it a little bit faster this time. So we'll end up with something like this. Okay, so you notice that I'm trying to keep the grooving pattern with the hands just like I was playing a regular 4/4 beat, because I don't really want the double kick beat to sound rigid and stiff. Double kick patterns tend to sound rigid and stiff anyway because of their aggressive nature, and any sort of feel we can inject into it is more than welcome. So we'll just try it again, maybe sustain it for a bit longer and try and get groovier with the hands. Okay, so once we've got used to 16th note pattern double kick beats, and we've incorporated different grooving techniques, the regular grooving techniques that we use in everyday rock rhythms, and it really frees up our playing with double kick rhythms and stops them sounding so stiff and rigid. So now we're going to look at 16th note triplets, which involve a slightly different footing, if you like. So we're dealing with 6 beats now per pulse in the bar. So with 16ths it was 4, now it's 6. So let's just try a string of 16th note triplets lasting for a bar. Okay, we're just going to sustain that a bit more now, just to give ourselves time to digest it and get used to how it sounds and how it feels. Okay, again, I'm searching for the accent, searching for the pulse, just so I'm staying aware of what I'm doing just before I actually put it into a groove. We're going to put it into another 4/4 pattern, just keeping it nice and simple. And again, we're going to play 8th notes on the ride or the mini hi-hats. And the thing to be aware of is when you're playing 16th note triplets with an 8th note ride or hi-hat pattern, the leading leg alternates on each right hand, on each 8th note, because the nature of the pattern is right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left when we're playing with an 8th note. So we just demonstrate with an 8th note ride pattern now with the 16th note triplets. Okay, so once we've got used to playing 8th notes over the 16th note triplets, next thing to do is add the 2 and the 4, the regular backbeat in the bar. So we'll start nice and slow, and as we get more confident with it, we'll just increase the tempo. Okay, so we can use it in a regular 4/4 pattern as we've just seen, but there's more clever things to be got out of double bass drumming as well. And I just want to share with you a really cool sticking pattern that's it's a favourite of mine, and it's something that we can orchestrate around the kit eventually. So I'm just going to start by telling you what the sticking pattern is, and it's in triplets. So we use the hi-hat as a guide, so we know what it is. I'll play it first. 3. So in essence, we are actually playing a 16th note pattern on the snare, and we're just allowing, it's all single sticking, but we're allowing a gap for the main backbeat, which in this case is a flam. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by layering it with 16th note double kicks. And then what we're going to do, we're going to gradually move it around the kit until it creates a totally different sounding groove. So here we go. So as you can see, it's quite an intense sticking pattern. It turns into quite an intense rhythm by the end of the sequence. So let's just take you through what we were doing with the sticking pattern. So here it is again. This is how it started on the snare. Obviously, all the hands were layered with double 16th note triplets with the feet. But what we did then, we just simply moved the right hand to the ride cymbal. So we had this effect. And then after the ride cymbal, the right hand alternated with the floor tom and the ride cymbal, starting on the floor. So from the ride cymbal to the floor ride part. The next stage was to use the spare notes, if you like, on the snare to pull out a syncopated hi-hat pattern. And it sounded like this. And finally, whilst we were doing the syncopated hi-hat pattern, one of the other spare notes on the snare was used on the high tom. So if we go from the floor tom to ride section, we get this result. And then it was just a case of the right hand alternating with the floor tom and the crash cymbal. So we created drum havoc with everything in, so maximum noise, and here it is. Okay, the final note value we're going to look at is 30-second notes. Now these are really fast and they require a slightly different technique again. What works best for me is positioning my feet about 1.5 inches down from the toe stop on the pedals. I generally play in that position anyway when playing the kick drum. It just seems more comfortable, and when you're playing fast 30-second notes, it's important to recognise that your legs have got to be nice and relaxed, and that you should be feeling like you're dancing on air with the 30-second notes when you're playing them fast. So now we just play a few bars of 30-second notes, and remember it's 8 per beat, so we'll try an accent on every beat as well. Okay, once again we're going to try it in a 4/4 beat now, and we're going to try nice and slow to begin with. Because it's fast, we need to give ourselves plenty of headroom to make up the speed. So here we go. Okay, so once we get used to 30-second notes, we can be a bit cleverer with what we do with them rather than just sustain a long barrage of fast beats with the feet. And one cool thing to do when you get used to them is just start breaking them up and look at playing fragments of 4, 6, maybe 8 30-second notes. So we'll just do a little bit of improvisation around the kit with these. Now, just laying down a regular metal groove, if you like. Okay, so once you've got used to all the note values with double kick drumming, one really cool thing to do is to change gears with the feet. So we're going to practice going from 16th notes to 16th note triplets, and then back to 16th notes, and then into 30-second notes. And we're going to use the 16th notes. Obviously, they're going to be bridging the gap between the triplets and the faster 30-second notes. So we've got a bit of a rest in between the faster note values, and also it's good practice to go from 16ths to faster ones as well as triplets. So let's try it at a nice slow speed to begin with and just build the speed up as we progress. Okay, well that's the end of that lesson, and I hope you've had as much fun with it that I've had, so happy practicing.